Alright everybody, welcome back to Bald and Board Games. I'm Bald, and I'm gonna do a rulebook rundown for you of So You've Been Cursed by LudiCreations. The newest So You've Been in their series of So You've Beens. The original one was So You've Been Eaten, which I did also get because I did miss out on that one to begin with, but it looked like a lot of fun. I'm excited to dive into the rulebook of this one because that rulebook for So You've Been Eaten is hilarious. It's very reminiscent of Portal with like the kind of sarcastic, witty humor within the rulebook. So we'll see what this one has in store. All right, here we go. So if you haven't watched any of our rulebook rundowns beforehand, the way that we do this is essentially a how to play, but it is us learning how to play by going through the rule book and such with you and all the headaches and confusion and trying to figure out what it means and this and that. That way you can learn on the fly with me. So we did an unboxing of this already, so you can see everything that came in this. You'll see it right now, but kind of a one-for-one as I pull it out in the unboxing video, so definitely go check that out. Here we have some player aids to begin with for individual and solo, and then we talked about the upgraded components that are in the box. And just a cool little artwork piece. We'll put that off to the side. We have the survival guide, the main book, and then the solo survival guide. So I'm going to be going through primarily the main book. We'll see how fast that this goes. If it goes quick enough, then I'll look into doing the solo. But for now, we're just going to do the main survival guide and the expansion little token things. Okay, so let's get this off to the side to start. We'll jump right in. Woo! Wordy. Here we go. So you've been cursed. It happens in the wizarding business. Occupational hazard. It's also the only logical explanation. At first, it looked like that feast last night must have caused the headache and the heartburn, but as you were about to brew the third digestive potion of the morning, it dawned on you. You can't remember how you got home and what you actually had for dinner. Then you noticed the sheep bones in the kitchen, the sheep bones on the dinner table, the sheep bones in the washroom, the unidentified bones in the bedroom, the bloodstains in, well, just about everywhere in the house. It didn't help that the town crier passed by your house, announcing the missing sheep from Scott's farm. The gouged out stonework at the town hall, the missing merchant from across town. So, there is a monster running around town at night, terrorizing the villagers. And what's worse, eating them. Luckily for them, it seems to be a nice local monster, rather than one from out of town. So no worries there. Still safe from outsiders. Unluckily for you, it seems that the monster is, well, you. But no need for despair. There's a cure. Maybe. You just need a whole lot of ingredients to brew and mix the potions listed in your spellbook, and you need to get them by any means necessary before it's too late and your nocturnal form persists in its ravenous pursuit for long enough to permanently transform. And who knows what the monster inside you is thinking? Or rather, who knows what the monster is eating? Fun. All right, so you've been cursed. So you're a monster. Gameplay. So You've Been Cursed can be played as a two-player game where there's a wizard playing against the monster player. A one-player with the wizard against the rabid monster, a one-player game with the monster against a possessed wizard, or a zero-player game with the rabid monster against a possessed wizard, where you can just literally watch it play out like an idle game. Note, for the rules of this game, the two players are in the rulebook. Read this first. And then the rules for games with 1 and 0 players can be found in the Solo Survival Guide. That is this one. Game overview. The game takes place over a series of turns, with the wizard player taking the first turn, players alternating and taking turns until one player has achieved their victory condition. The wizard player must obtain ingredients, steal coins, and cast spells in order to find a cure before they fully succumb to the curse. Their victory is achieved if the token on the cure track has reached the final space at the top. Don't know what that is. We'll figure out what that is. The monster player must eat as much as possible in its quest to satisfy its hunger and grow in strength until it has transformed into a legendary creature. The victory is achieved if the token on the curse track has reached the final space at the top. Okay. During the game, the wizard and the monster share the same token. The location and the token... Sorry, the location that the location that the token is in at the end of the monster's turn is where they will... Words fail. The location that the token is in at the end of the monster's turn is where the token will at the start of the wizard's turn. B. Likewise, where the token is at the end of the wizard's turn is where the token starts during the monster's turn. Holy crap. Not included. Silver bullet, wooden stakes, holy water. Damn. It goes over components list for you. Note the components are limited. The player may never accumulate more than the number available in the game. Okay. The bag. Tip for the monster player, always keep toothpicks around. Okay. Stupid. Here we go. Setup. These setup instructions are for a 2-player game. Setup instructions for 1 and 0 players are in the solo survival. This. Number 1. Choose will be the wizard player, who will be the monster player. In the case of disagreement, older player is the wizard. I will be both, because I am going over this game. So let's get everything out of the box as we set up. Out of bits and bobs. Yeah, okay. So we're setting up for a 2-player game. So there is this side of the board. So the blue wizard is a 2-player side of the board. The green wizard down here is the solo and 0-player side. So we have this, there, baboom. It looks like wizard here. So place the village board in the middle of the table, making sure that the side of the wizard icon, the blue one, boom, is facing up. Place the player token in the wizard's laboratory space. Let me find the player token. Here we are. The wizard's laboratory space, number 3, right there. Boom. Okay, I think this is going to be going over here. So you'll typically be sitting apart from each other, like this, one person on that side, one person on this side. I'm going to flip this board over. That way you can see it straight up as I play and stuff. Boom. Okay. Place the panic tile on the first space 1 of the panic track. So that is the angry mob. I'm just going to dump all these tiles out. So the angry mob goes right there. Cool. Place the 6-sided and 20-sided die next to the board. Those guys. Right there. Place the number of sheep tokens in each pasture equal to the number of sheep icons shown. Sheep tokens. So we have 1, 2, 3. We got 4 in this one. I was saying in the unboxing that I really like these wooden but like art printed animal tokens. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. So for the Agricola game that we just back to reprinting, we opted to not get the minis, and instead we got these wooden art printed sheep tokens. There are 3 sheeps left over, So I assume those are off to the side for now. Okay. Place the remaining sheep tokens, energy tiles, coin tokens, and ingredient tiles next to the board to form a supply. Exactly. Okay. Sheep. Coins. It's got some 5s and then 5 1s. Wow, you are not cooperating. Come on, fingers, fingers. There we go. Nope, that's fine. Ain't gonna worry about it. Coins. Ingredient tiles, that's gonna be all of these. We'll put these close to the wizards, I think. I guess so these sheep should go over here, probably. These are the ingredient tiles, I do believe. Or these are the ingredient tokens, because we have the upgraded version. Woohoo! The rest are villagers and stuff, I believe. Energy tiles. These must be energy tiles, I guess? For the creature? You up there? I assume these are also ingredients? I do not know. Then we have people and other things. Okay. Alright, continuing on. Shuffle the town guard tiles and place one face down tile on each path between districts. These are the bridges and passages through the walls. So town guard tiles. We have tokens. So we'll be placing, we'll do this. They go doop like that. You can see they are like this, but they go face down because there is a little thing on the bottom. So I'm going to put it like this. Obviously, you wouldn't normally know what that is. They are blocking the bridges. Okay. Place all villager tokens in the bag. Bag. So, the yellow ones will see villagers also. Yep, okay. So we have in here the black, green, and brown villagers going in the bag. Whoop. Purple villagers. Yellow. And white. Okay. Randomly draw 20 from the bag, one at a time, placing them on the village board. House spaces, starting with the space marked 1 and proceeding to the one marked 20. There's a note that says, see villager cards variant on page 5 for an alternate method to placing villagers on the board. So right now it's saying, take one out at random like this to put them out. Let's see what's on page 5 over here. Village card variants. To ensure the players do not determine the shape of the villager tokens when drawing them from the bag, the village cards may be used instead. So we have those in this little box here. Village cards. Okay. So during setup, shuffle the village cards. Place the deck face down next to the board, reveal 20 cards from the deck one by one, and place the corresponding villager tokens on the numbered spaces, starting with 1, proceeding to 20. Keep the revealed cards in a face-up discard pile, which may be examined at any time by another player. Whenever a new villager is to be placed, draw the top village card from the village deck, determine the type, and place the villager in the draw the top card of the deck to determine the type, place the villager, and discard the card. Important, whenever a village token would be returned to the bag, usually at the end of the monster's turn, instead place the token in the supply and take a matching card from the discard pile to shuffle back into the deck. Note the village cards in the discard pile should match the villager tokens present at the same time. So this gives you an alternate way, right? So instead of putting them in this bag, you just have a supply off to the side, and you can simply flip a card for the villager, and you do this every time that you need a villager. Then what it was saying is, if a villager is ever removed from the board, instead of putting them back into the bag like you normally would, you would take a card from the discard pile of these cards and put it back into the draw deck of those. For right now, for the purposes of this game, we will use the bag, because I don't really know what the villagers feel like or their purpose. So I think that that is okay. And in general, grab quick enough, can't feel what they feel like anyway. So we're placing one in every single house place, starting with 1. I'm going to place them face down so that we can see what they are and where they're going. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh man, 8. There's like butcher or something. 9, 10, 11. Doing a headstand. 12. Another headstand. 13. 14. Come here. 15. Almost there. 16. The 17. 18. 19. And lastly, 20. All right, cool. So it looks like there's, these are left over. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are going to be left in the bag, it seems like. Okay. All right. Prepare the spell deck by selecting all the cards with the wizard icon. So that is the blue wizard icon. So spell cards. So wizard deck. Blue icon is that blue wizard there. This does have the green as well. That's okay. Return the cards that do not have that wizard icon to the box. So any that don't have the blue, we will be removing. So these two we are removing. And returning to the box. Shuffle the cards into a face-down deck and place it next to the wizard board. The wizard player draws 4 cards into their hand. So we'll get a good shuff here. That is why we usually sleeve. These have a really nice linen finish to them. They're a little thin, but they got a nice finish to them, which is nice. Definitely probably need to get some sleeves for these cards to make sure that they stay in very good shape. I've recently gotten to sleeving. I enjoy, I only do it for games I definitely plan on keeping that I really enjoy. And so I've been slowly doing that with a bunch of the games. I just went through and did The Witcher Old World, which has a lot of sleeves. Okay, so shuffled. Draw 4 cards in their hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? And it's showing that this is going to be placed right below the wizard board, like so. 4 cards into their hand. Don't know what they mean yet. Put them right here for now. Prepare the power card deck by selecting all the cards with the monster icon. So, pull them for the monster deck. Monster. Red icon is the one we want to keep. Any without the red icon, we're going to be getting rid of. It can have the red and the yellow, but as long... So those two that don't have the red at all, take out. Return the cards that do not have that icon to the box. Doing it. Shuffle these. Then these guys will draw 4 cards. This is supposed to play in like 30 minutes, so there's a very good chance this could be one of our upcoming tournament games that we do. We're not really going to have one for November. November, because there's so many holiday things going on, we can travel. Board's been gone for 2 weeks. I'm going to be gone for a week. We literally have 1 week of recording, so we're definitely going to be... this I'm recording, obviously, while he's away, so these will be going up throughout. But we're definitely going to be jumping into Dragon Eclipse, our next campaign game, get that going, as well as some other items. We do have 2 days of D&D that we're doing with that crew that we'll be hosting. So a bunch of stuff coming for you up on YouTube. For Twitch, though, is where we're going to be a little MIA for a minute while we figure stuff out. All right, all shuffled. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. Put that here. So again, typically this would be over here because this board would be flipped because you'd be sitting across from each other. For the purposes of going through this whole tutorial aspect, we're doing it this way. Bang, bang, bang. Good deal. So don't know what these cards mean either. Over there for now. Okay, the wizard. Place the wizard board next to the village board, making sure the wizard side, the wizard icon is face up. Yes, and this one's wrong. Okay, yep, good, blue wizard. So the blue wizard is for the 2-player game. The red monster is also for the 2-player game. Place the cure tile next to the wizard board. That is this little potion, so next to the wizard board. Like so, right there. Place 3 coin tiles on the wallet area of the wizard board. So of course I have the actual metal coins, 1, 2, 3. On the wallet area, that is right here. This is the wallet. All right, cool. For the monster board should be next to the village, making sure that all sides with the monster icon are face up. So red monster, right there. Place the curse tile on the first lowest space of the curse track. So red tile, first lowest space is right here. Okay. Place 2 energy tiles on the energy area of the monster board. So these eyeballs are energy, and they go on the eyeball. There's 2 of them there to start. Bang, bang. Cool. You are now ready to begin, starting with the wizard. So here, just say, note that for the following icons appear in the rules on the board, cards, other components including. So, blue wizard, red monster, green possessed wizard, the yellow, orange, or brown rabid monster. It says if you see any other icons, they may or may not be hallucinations. Check for any signs of a curse. Nice. And this, of course, goes over that village card variant that I mentioned a moment ago. If you don't want to pull from the bag because you're worried about someone being able to feel the shape, you can use these cards instead, which give you all the villagers to randomly pull as cards. So a nice option there to make sure no one's cheating, like Board typically does. He's not here, so I can rag on him. He can't defend himself. Does this fit? Oh, look at that. Boom. How nice. Okay. The wizard's turn. On the wizard's turn, 2 things happen. A new villager arrives, and then the wizard takes up to 3 actions. After the wizard has completed their turn, then it is the monster's turn. Be sure to leave the token where it is. That will be the starting location for the monster. Note, the wizard's turn may be affected by the panic track. A new villager arrives. This symbol here. The wizard draws a random villager from the bag and rolls a 20-sided die. Villager, 20-sided die. We got a 10. The house marked with that number is where the new villager is placed. Where's 10? Right there. Oh, hilarious. Okay. If the house is already occupied, then the wizard may place the villager in any empty house of their choice. A villager does not arrive whenever all 20 spaces are occupied, e.g. the first turn of the game. All right, so that doesn't happen. Hilarious. First turn of the game, because all houses are occupied, you will not do that step. The wizard takes actions. The wizard may take up to 3 actions each turn. There are 4 available actions. Buy ingredients, mix, cure, cast a spell, or steal coins. And it gives you little icons for each of those here. Buy ingredients, mix, cure, cast spell, steal coins. The wizard may choose to take any of them in any order, and may take the same action more than once. Little fun note, look out for noble merchant hybrids. They are more ruthless than the monster. All right, locations. To take an action, the wizard must be at a specific location. If already at that location, they simply take the action. If a wizard must move between locations, they may freely do so if those locations are within the same district, the area of matching background, and enclosed by a wall or river. Okay, so matching backgrounds, so all the yellow, brown, the dark green pastures, or like this bricked area, which is enclosed by all of these walls here. So the distance between the locations is not important. If the wizard must move to a location in a different district, they must hire a carriage to take them through a gate or a bridge. Each time that the gate or bridge is crossed, the wizard must pay 1 coin. So if I had to go from here to there, I had to pay 1 coin. If the wizard is not able or willing to pay to cross into a different district, they may spend an action, if they have one, instead of the total coin cost of moving. Okay, so if I wanted to go as the wizard from here over to here, I would either have to pay 1 coin, or if I didn't want to pay that coin, I would give up one of my actions, saying one of my actions is to pay the toll to get over here. Okay? Then, of course, it gives the example that I just did. So buying ingredients, which is the first of the 4 actions. The wizard needs ingredients in order to mix potions that will help them find the cure. So that is, up here everything is labeled. So this is step 1, which would be putting out a villager if you can. Next, here it goes over all the different actions. So this bottom one here is buying ingredients, which does show a little bit larger right here for you. To buy ingredients, the wizard must be at the house occupied by a villager or at the market. And so it does show that here. So at the top, at a house occupied by a villager or at the market. So the market is right here. That's the market. And of course, where the villagers are their houses. If a wizard buys an ingredient from a house space, then they may buy ingredients that match the color of that type of villager occupying it. The cost of each ingredient is noted in the coins next to the house and may be 1 to 4 coins. The wizard may buy multiple ingredients from a villager using 1 action. If the wizard buys an ingredient from the market location, then the wizard pays 5 coins to buy exactly 1 ingredient of any type. If the wizard wants to buy more ingredients from the market, they must spend another action for each purchase. The wizard can only hold up to 3 ingredients at a time, placed on pouches on the wizard board. It says, note, ingredient tokens may be freely discarded at any time and returned to the supply to make space for others. All right. So 1, 2, 3 pouches. Every villager has a different color to them. So white goes with white. Whoop. the little wishbone here. So from these guys, I can buy a wishbone. So here, there's 2 coins above 8, which means each wishbone will cost 2 coins. This one costs 3. That one costs 4. Up here, that one costs 4. So clearly, if I want to buy wishbones, I want to buy them from this guy. So I can get 2 from him for the price of 1 over here. And you can do that one action. So then, of course, here, 1 coin would net you 1 of these claws. So I could spend 3 coins to get 3 claws. Now when you buy them, they go into the pouches. So if I used all 3 of my coins that I have right now, I could buy those 3 claws. But I can't ever hold more than 3 items like I have right there. I could do that all in one action. I could buy as many as I want from that one person. If I was, so I had to be there to do it. If I was over here in the market, I'd have to spend 5 coins, which I don't have. But if I did, one action would be to spend 5 coins to take any of these of my choice. But if I wanted to do that again, not only would I spend 5 more coins, but I have to use another action to do so. So, perk here, higher cost, but I can buy any ingredient I need. Where getting to a villager space, low cost potentially, but I need to travel to get there. The perk being I can buy as many as I want in one go that I can afford. All right, next up, mixing a cure. Symbol here and symbol there. Mix a cure on the bottom. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. This action allows the wizard to advance the cure track and towards winning the game. The mix cure action must be taken by the wizard at the laboratory, which is the starting space right here. So to get back to the lab to do the mix cure action. And it shows that on here as well. It shows you the little symbol for a laboratory. In order to mix a cure, the wizard may spend the ingredient they hold that matches the ingredient shown on the next space of the cure track. So we're starting from the bottom. I would need a claw to start. So if we say I have a claw, boom. Okay. The spent ingredient is returned to the supply and the cure tile advances to that space. The wizard may repeat this any number of times without spending an extra action if they have the required ingredients. If the cure tile reaches the last, which is the top space of the cure track, the wizard instantly wins the game. So, if I had, oh no, I need green first. Starts over here. So if I had this in my pack right now, I could spend one action to discard this, which goes here, and then this to advance it there. And then I would need the claw next to be able to continue on. And then it'll go up to the next, over. It kind of does this whole zigzag motion. If it ever gets all the way to here, then you instantly win the game. Like, done. Immediate victory. That's why that starts there. And you have to be at the laboratory to do so. Gives an example. Don't need that. We're good. All right, so casting a spell, which is here, right there, is next. We'll refresh. Whew. All right. Ooh. The ending is always strong. Ooh. The wizard spends ingredients to cast spells, gaining new abilities to earn coins. Cool. In order to be cast, some spells may require the wizard to be located at a specific space, and some require certain ingredients to be spent. Most spells confer a special ability to the wizard, while few impose an impediment on the monster player. Every spell card indicates the amount of coins gained as a byproduct of casting the spell. To cast a spell, the wizard player reveals a spell card from their hand, indicates that they are in the correct location if necessary, spends any required ingredients, and applies its effects including gaining coins. Each card may be one of the following types: And immediate effect. Do we have one of those? Nope, not in our hand. But immediate effect has like a lightning bolt. The effect is applied and the card is immediately discarded. Oh yes, you do. So immediate effect, lightning bolt. Right there. So immediately apply the effects and the card is then discarded. The effects are over here. Coins gained, B5. Looks like requirements would be being at that location, which would be here, and spending a claw. Ongoing is another type, which is here, the spectral skeleton key. The infinity sign means ongoing. The card is placed in front of the wizard player unless it shows any monster icons, in which case it's placed in front of the monster player. It remains in place and in effect until another effect causes it to be discarded. Cool. So it looks like this is for me. What would be a monster one? Right here. So this has placed in front of the monster. Note, spell card effects may cause villagers to be moved. A villager must always end up in an unoccupied house space, and no house space may hold more than one villager token. So after applying the spell's effects, the wizard then takes the number of coins indicated on the spell card and adds them to their wallet. So if I use this one, which we placed in front of me, which I don't have to be anywhere specifically, but if I had a claw, I would spend the claw to use it. This goes in front of me, we'll say like so, and I would get 5 coins. Another note, the number of coins is limited to the total value included in the game. If there are not enough coins in the supply for a spell's effect to be fully applied, the wizard takes only as many as are available. Okay? All discarded spell cards are placed in a face-up discard pile. So if we use one of these, discard here, because this will be your hand that'll be face down with you. And it goes over the anatomy of the card. So we have the game mode it's for, the requirements, so location, ingredients, the card name, the card type, immediate or infinite, special placement in front of you or in front of the monster if it has that, the effects, and the coins gained. And there is, in the back of this rule book, but also in the back of the player aids, a nice index for all the spells, as well as for the monster, a nice index for all the power cards. All right. Next up, steal coins. So, we have stealing coins, which is here, which is displayed at the top right there. The wizard may obtain coins by trying to steal them from houses. To steal, the wizard must be at a house space. At a house space. If the house is empty, the wizard automatically succeeds at stealing 1 coin. If the house is occupied by a villager token, stealing from villagers is dangerous, as the wizard may be noticed. The wizard player must declare how many coins they attempt to steal. At least 1 coin and up to a number shown on the house. So here I can steal up to 2. So you can do 1 or 2, I would say ahead. So I'm going to say 2. Then they roll the 6-sided die to check if they were noticed. Let's do that before we figure out what happens. I got a 6. I feel like that's not good. If the number rolled is higher than the declared number, then stealing is successful, and the wizard takes that number of coins from the supply. Oh, hell yeah. So 2 added to my 3 is another 5. Nice. If the number rolled is equal to or lower than a declared number, then the wizard has been noticed. The wizard player may then spend an additional action to create a distraction and avoid being detected. If they do, they must take that number of coins. Or sorry, if they do, they may take that number of coins. If they steal, or sorry, if this steal attempt was the final action of their turn, or if they are unwilling to spend the additional action, then the attempt was unsuccessful and the wizard does not take any coins. The wizard should never attempt to steal more than the value of coins remaining in the supply. Duh. And then this card here is actually for stealing coins, so I can re-roll one time. So if I was trying to steal 2 and I happen to roll a 1, I can then use this to re-roll to 1 time. Got a 5, which would have been successful. End of the wizard's turn, which is shown right here, bigger, denoted by that icon right there. If the wizard player is holding fewer than 4 spell cards, they draw enough new cards to refill their hand to 4. So I discarded 1, having the 1 there, so I'm going to draw up to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. My eye is being funky. Whew. Tired eyes, have to work. The spell card deck is empty, and the cards need to be drawn from it. The discard pile is shuffled to form a new face-down deck. The player token remains wherever it is at the end of the wizard player's turn. It is now the monster player's turn. So sure, we'll say we're right there. All right. On to the monster. We'll say that this is here. Sure. Here we go. On their turn, the monster can take a feeding turn, moving around the village and trying to feed on villagers and sheep, or take a quiet night turn. So monster turn, option 1. So let's flip this over. It is now the monster's turn. During a quiet night, the monster does not take any actions, and the following effects are resolved. The panic level is reduced by 2, so if this was here, it would go down by 1, 2. The curse level is reduced by 1, so if this was up a level, it would go down by 1. The monster may play 1 power card from their hand, ignoring any cost or requirements applying its effects. This is the only way the monster token may be moved during a quiet night. If the monster played a card, it draws a new power card. So that's saying from our hand here, we can play any of these, ignoring cost and requirements, and apply the effect. Nice, that's cool. Crazy. For 1 turn. So we'll say I played this. I don't know what any of this means. We'll say I played it, and we'll just put it in the discard. You immediately draw a card to get back up to your hand size. Okay? And then lastly, 2 new villagers arrive. Regardless of the effect of the current panic level, see the panic track effects on page 13, which we will. So 2 villagers would arrive if there was space to do so. There is not right now. All right. Excuse me. After these effects are resolved, the monster's turn ends and the wizard's turn begins. Note, during the quiet night turn, a monster may not spend energy to enhance actions and may not activate a single use effect or power cards. So, during quiet night, the monster doesn't move anywhere unless a power card tells you to move them by playing it. Monster turn option 2, feeding. To feed, the monster may take up to 3 actions. An action consists of 2 phases, moving and eating. When eating, the monster gains energy, which can be spent to enhance its abilities. The monster may also develop special powers by playing power cards. Okay. So, moving phase. And again, these are all on here, so sleep or move and play an action, it looks like. So here we have the two moves. So movement phase, which is that. Each moving phase can include up to 2 movements into adjacent locations. Important. Entering a house with a villager ends the moving phase for that action. All right. Locations are connected by the path shown on the board as roads. So all these are how you can do. So I can't go from here to here in one movement. It'd be this, 1, 2. The monster may move between districts, though gates in walls or bridges, through gates in walls or bridges across rivers. Whenever such a move is made, if a town guard token is present, it must be picked up, revealing the effect noted underneath, resolving the effect, and removing the token from the game. So it's saying if I wanted to go across this middle section to here, I have to pick this up, reveal what's here, and resolve it. So it looks like that's going to be discard 2 energy most likely. And this would get removed from the game. Yep, and it has the effects down here for you. So blank is no effect. 1 cross out I, 1 is -1 energy. There's 3 of those. -2 energy, which is 3 of those. -1 movement, there's 2 of those. +1 panic, there's 2 of those. Okay. Note, town guard effects only ever happen, so only ever apply to the monster, never to the wizard. After concluding any movements and resolving any town guard token effects, the monster may eat a villager or a sheep. Note, if a monster begins their turn in the location with the villager, it may eat the villager without moving. This would complete 1 action. Okay? So it looks like you can move up to 2 and eat 3 times. Because each action consists of 2 phases, moving and eating. Yeah. So you can move up to 2 spaces, it looks like. Right? Yep. Up to 2 movements to adjacent locations. Okay. So each action is you can move up to 2 spaces and you can eat. That's an action. You got 3 times on the monster's turn. The eating phase. To eat a villager, the monster must be occupying the same house space as a villager token, like I am here. To eat a sheep, goodness, a sheep token must be present in a pasture adjacent to the monster's current location. Also, like I am there. As villagers and sheep are eaten, their tokens are placed in the leftmost empty stomach slot in the monster's board and generate energy for the monster. So when I eat here, I'd place you right there. And then you would generate energy for me. Energy. As the monster eats, it gains energy per villager or sheep eaten. This is represented by energy tiles that are immediately gained. So sheep, farmer, hunter give us 1 energy. So farmer, the hunter is in black, that gives us 1. The woodcutter, which is brown, and the butcher give us 2 energy. The merchant and noble give us 3 energy. So I just ate this guy, so I would get 1 energy for doing so. A sheep would do the same. So then, that was 1 action. So if I want to stay here, I can then move 1 to here. Is there any check-in to do for eating? Doesn't look like it. Just occupy the same space, yeah. So I could use 1 action to move there and eat this one. Boom. Woodcutter gives me 2 energy. 2. And then I could stay here and eat a sheep, which gives me 1 energy. Okay. Energy can be freely spent by the monster during any of its actions in order to enhance them. So you can spend 2 energy. The monster gains 2 additional movement for this action. Sorry, the monster gains an additional movement for this action. So I can spend 2 to move again. So if I was in my movement phase, I can move 1, 2, spend 2 to go third, and so on if I have enough to spend. You can spend 4 energy. The monster may discard an ongoing effect spell card from in front of either the monster or the wizard. So I could spend 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say goodbye. Boom. Or, since I just had 6 energy, I could spend all 6 energy that I just had to reduce this by 1. Player's choice. The monster player may spend energy on multiple enhancements during their turn, including multiple of the same one. For example, it may spend 4 energy to make 2 additional movements before eating. Nice. Power cards. Woo. The monster begins the game with a hand of power cards, which can be played before or after an action. Ooh. Really? Nice. In order to be played, some power cards require monsters to have visited a specific location. Some require a specific villager or sheep token to be present in a stomach slot. Some require panic to be increased, and some require energy to be spent. So, in my hand right now, I have this one which requires 1 energy and would require me to be right here. This one requires a sheep in my stomach and requires me to increase the panic track. That straight up requires 4 energy. This one requires 3 energy and to have a wood guy in my stomach, which I do. Cool. Most power cards confer a special ability to the monster, while a few impose impediment on the wizard. So this one here, same thing. It shows the card and points to the wizard, which means this will go in front of the wizard. Otherwise, it goes in front of the creature. To play a power card, the monster player reveals it and indicates that they will fulfill the requirements. If a location is shown, that location must have been already visited by the monster at least once this turn. Oh, must have already been visited. So you don't have to be there. So for where you at? This one here that shows this location, I just had to have been there this turn. Interesting. Was that the same for the wizard? No, you have to specifically be in the space to cast the spell. The monster, you must have been there during this turn. Great. To have visited. Hold on. You have to be located in to have visited. Interesting. Cool. If a villager or sheep is shown, at least 1 villager token of that type or a sheep token must be present on one of the 3 stomach slots on the monster board. If a panic icon is shown, the panic level must be increased by 1 step, such as a power card may not be played if the panic level is already at maximum. So if this is already here, you cannot play a power card that would increase it more. Crazy. If an amount of energy is shown, that number of energy tokens must be spent by the monster. Yep, did that. It goes over the anatomy of the card. So, game mode, requirements, of course, name, card type, effect, rabid monster effect is on the bottom. Cool. Okay. I wonder if that was the same for wizard as well. Ah, yeah. So it has the dashed line like this. The top one's the effect for like if you're playing as a regular wizard. The bottom is for the possessed wizard. Much like how we just found with these guys. Do we have, yep, here we go. So here for this is the regular effect if you're playing with the regular monster as yourself, or if you're playing against the rabid monster, that's the bottom effect that would take place. So each card Each card effect may be one of the following types. So again, you have the immediate effect, lightning bolt. The effect is applied and the card is immediately discarded. You have an ongoing effect, infinity sign. Card is placed in front of the monster player unless it shows the wizard icon, in which case placed in front of the wizard. It remains in place until the effect causes it to be discarded. Until remains in place and in effect until another effect causes it to be discarded. Or, you have a third for the monster, a single use effect. This card is placed in front of the monster player, who can activate it at any time during their turn, including the turn in which they played. The card is then discarded. The monster can have at most one single use card in front of them. If they play a second, they must immediately discard one of them without effect. All discarded power cards are placed in the face-up discard pile. Note, power card effects may cause villagers to be moved. A villager must always end up in an unoccupied house space, and no house space can have more than one villager. My lord. Okay. End of the monster's turn. Panic and curse track adjustments. So we'll say you're right here. The level of alarm in the village is adjusted in the panic track located on the village board. The monster's evolution into a creature of legend is adjusted in the curse track located on the monster board. Okay, just use this. It's nice they have the cost for everything down the side here as well. So how much energy you get is right there for reference. The cost of spending energy is here that you can do stuff. And I think this is probably what they're about to get into next. Okay. The monster evolution, create blah, blah, blah. So both are affected by the number of types of villager tokens present in the stomach slots like we have here. So amount and type of villagers. So 0 to 1 villager tokens, panic is decreased by 1. If there are none here, or if there's only 1 there, this would go down by 1. 2 villager tokens of the same type. So if we had 2 greens or 2 browns there, panic is increased by 1, and the curse is increased by 1. If there's 3 villager tokens of the same type, panic goes up by 2, and the curse is increased by 2. Oh, so the 0 to 1 villager tokens must mean, like it shows here on the board, that they don't equal. If you have no equivalent villager tokens, does that make sense? Does make sense. Eating sheep has no effect on the panic or curse tracks. Eating more than 3 villagers of the same type, made possible by power cards, has no further effect on the panic or curse tracks. Only one type of villager is considered when determining adjustments in the curse and panic tracks. For example, if the monster eats 2 woodcutters and 2 butchers in a single turn due to some effect cards, curse and panic will each increase only by 1 step. If the curse tile reaches the last top space of the curse track, the monster immediately wins. All right, so there's a little discrepancy here. Here it shows no equal villagers. This would go down by 1. Okay? And here it says 0 to 1 villager tokens. Panic is decreased by 1. Oh, okay, so here we go. That's what it means. So there's only 1. So there's no villagers, or if there's only 1 of each type. Got it. No discrepancy. It goes down by 1. So with this situation, it would go down by 1. Okay. Got it. So that's what I was illustrating before. I was saying if you had like cards that let you have potentially 4 things eaten, or if you had 2 greens and 2 browns, it looks at to see, okay, how many like do you have? If you have those 4, 2 and 2, it still is only 2 equal villagers technically. So 1 and 1 would be the situation. So here, because there's only 1 of each of these and there's no duplicates, it falls in that top mark, so this only goes down by the 1. not by 2. Digesting. Any villager tokens eaten are placed back into the bag. Okay. Any sheep tokens eaten are returned to the supply. Okay. If a monster player is holding fewer than 4 power cards, they draw enough new cards to refill their hand to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're good. If a power card deck is empty, cards will be drawn from it. The discard pile is reshuffled, form a new face down deck. The monster token remains wherever it is. At the end of the monster player's turn, the wizard player's turn now begins. And then it goes through the index. Acknowledgements. And then you have here, so it's the end of the game. The end is, the game ends in one of 2 ways. The wizard advances to the final top step of the curse track, cure track, they instantly win, or the monster gets the top of the curse track, and then they instantly win. Cool. Reference here as well on the back of that for rules. Lovely. All right. Now, we're not going to go through the solo survival guide. If you want to play this solo, you can go through this yourself and learn how to play this solo. I am going to cover, oops, just knocked a bunch of these by accident. I am going to cover the little expansions. So first we will start with weird livestock. The sheep going missing was bad enough, not to mention the villagers who are quite fond of them also going missing. But this is a truly worrying development. A whole menagerie of aberrations seems to be appearing in the village, and not only at night. It seems like the nasty curse that's been going around has jumped species and resulted in some really weird animals showing up in the pastures. Now, the villagers are crafty, and with the wizard's help, they can probably make good use of them. But, then again, the monster might want to diversify their diet. All right, so we have some animal tokens here. So setup. Place 1 less sheep in each pasture. So, cool. Let's go back to the initial setup here. Person. So 1 less sheep in each pasture. So 3, right? Nope, 2, sorry. Yep. So 2, that should be 3, and 4. Shuffle and place the animal tiles into a face-down stack. So let's punch these out. Okay, face-down stack. Boom. Check. And for gameplay, the inclusion of these weird animals may benefit both the wizard and the monster. These rules outline how gameplay changes when playing with weird livestock. All other rules are in effect and explained in the game rules. Nice little handy, quick little read here. All right, on the wizard's turn. New villager arrives. When a new villager arrives, an animal is also placed in a pasture on the villager board. After the villager is placed, the 6-sided die is rolled, and the animal is placed according to the result. At 1 or 2, the animal is placed in the left pasture, 3 or 4 in the middle, 5 or 6 on the right. The top animal tile is taken from the stack and placed on the corresponding pasture. If the stack is empty, the discarded tiles are shuffled to form a new stack from which the tile is taken. Okay. And the weird new animals are useful to the villagers but are difficult to transport without any magic. The wizard can help deliver livestock to the villagers that match each animal tile's color. When playing with weird livestock, the wizard has an additional action option. Okay, so first Roll a d20. Oh, sorry, roll a d6, my bad. So we got a 5. So this guy, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, goes right here. So luckily it is brown, and it is a brown, weird rabbit beaver. So the additional action, we have enchant livestock. This is for the wizard again. The wizard moves to a location occupied by a villager and attempts to attract an animal matching the villager's color to that location. The 6-sided die is rolled and compared to the number of locations between the animal's pasture and the villager. Include the villager's location. If the rolled number is higher than the distance, the enchantment is successful and the animal is moved to the villager's location. If the number rolled is equal to or lower than the distance, the enchantment failed and the animal remains in the pasture. The wizard may then spend an additional action, if any remain, to guide the animal to the villager and convert the enchantment failure to a success. Okay. So, the wizard, say, oh, you don't count those spaces. Interesting. Oh, yeah, you do. Never mind. Okay, so we'll say if you are here, and we need to get there, and that means, so it's count the villager space, right? Or don't. Okay, so you start from here and you go this way. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I need to roll a 5 or a 6 to attract it that way. So roll, I got a 3. That's a failure. So then I can use an action to say, I'm going to turn that failure into a success, and if so, successfully collected the animal. Okay. As a reward, the wizard may either gain the coins shown in that location, so it'd be 2 coins. So I don't collect this, it just goes me there. Or gain the ingredients matching the villager's type. So, or I could get a brown thing. Okay, cool. The animal tile is then discarded face up next to the face down animal stack. Discard. Important, if the wizard is successful in an attempt to enchant livestock, they may not take this action again this turn. Once per turn. The possessed wizard's turn. If the possessed wizard ever buys an ingredient from the market, the animal tile matching that ingredient type is discarded, if present on the board. If such a tile is discarded, the possessed wizard draws and plays 1 spell card, ignoring any cost requirement, and applies the effect. So again, the possessed wizard, that's only going to be useful for the 0 to 1 player game. Okay, so if it was the monster's turn. Eating. Instead of eating sheep, so we'll put you here. Instead of eating sheep, the monster may eat a weird livestock animal, much like a sheep. Weird livestock animals do not cause an increase on the curse track. Animals eaten do not provide any energy to the monster. Each animal eaten results in a different immediate effect. So then it has all the effects here. So for the green animals, the monster discards as many power cards as desired and refills their hand to 4 cards. For the black animal, panic is reduced by 1. For the brown, the 20-sided die is rolled and the monster moves to that location. For the gray, the monster gains 3 energy. For the yellow, the monster may immediately move up to 4 spaces, ignoring any villagers. For the purple, this counts as a noble for any track adjustments. Once eaten, the monster must immediately proceed to the end of the turn. And then for the 0 to 1 player games, the rabid monster's turn. Whenever a rabid monster would eat a sheep, if there is a weird livestock animal in the pasture, the monster must eat the animal instead. Its effect is not applied to the rabid monster. The animal is kept next to the monster's board until the end of its next turn and is then discarded face up. At the end of each of the rabid monster's turn, if it hasn't eaten at least 2 or 3 villagers of the type matching an animal tile in front of it, the curse track is increased by 1 step and the tile is discarded face up. So again, that's only for 1 to 0 player games. Cool. easy enough. Just kind of gives you some munching options. So put that off to the side now. Okay. Lastly, we have the magical implements of the future. Strange times, every now and then a mysterious portal opens and bizarre tools fall from the sky. They might be valuable if you get your hands/claws on them. As a wizard, a well-timed steal can get you one of them. As a monster, you might as well eat the owner. All right, so we got some tokens here. These tools are straight up out of So You've Been Eaten. These are all the same tools in that. It's kind of a fun little crossover. And then in So You've Been Eaten, they have a potions crossover from So You've Been Cursed. All right. Now, setup. Shuffle the artifact tiles into face-down pile near the village board. I thought so. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Face-down pile. Boom. Okay, gameplay. This is only a front and backer. These futuristic artifacts may benefit either the wizard or the monster. These rules outline how gameplay changes when playing with the magical implements of the future tiles. All other rules are in effect as explained in the game rules. A new artifact appears. At the start of the wizard's turn, when a new villager arrives, if the die roll corresponds to an occupied house, then an artifact tile is drawn from the pile and placed facing up in the house. The new villager is placed in an empty house, and the wizard's choice. Wow. The new villager is placed in an empty house of the wizard's choice. In the case of a possessed wizard, the empty house closest to the roll number. What? If the roll corresponds. Oh, okay. So the roll corresponds to an occupied house. So when you're rolling this d20 to place out a villager, I got a 20, which is over here. It's occupied. So an artifact tile is drawn from the pile and placed face up in that house. So we'll go right here with that guy. Then the new villager is placed in an empty house of the wizard's choice. In the case of the possessed wizard, so a 1 to 0 player game, the empty house closest to the number rolled. So then, if this house was empty, the drawn wizard would, or drawn villager would go in that empty spot. Okay. General artifact rules. Both the wizard and the monster can gain artifacts. When a player gains an artifact, it is placed in front of them until they choose to use it. Either player may use an artifact during their turn and then discard it. A player may hold only one artifact at a time. If they gain a new artifact while holding one, they must choose one of those artifacts to discard. After an artifact is discarded for any reason, it is removed from the game. Gaining artifacts for the wizard. The wizard gains artifacts by stealing them. If the wizard takes a successful steal action at the house with an artifact tile, then they both take the tile and the coins from stealing. A possessed wizard. So this is for 1 to 0 players. The possessed wizard will gain an artifact if they take any action in the artifact tile's location, not just to steal. When a possessed wizard gains an artifact, they immediately discard it and gain 3 coins. Okay. For the monster. The monster gains artifacts by eating their owners. If the monster eats a villager at a house with an artifact tile, they both take the tile and place the villager on their board. Rabid monster. For the 1 to 0 players. When a rabid monster gains an artifact, it is immediately discarded and panic is reduced by 2. Boom, boom. And then, so for the artifact, so you have the wrench. For the monster, gain 3 energy. For the wizard, gain 3 coins. You have the teleporter. Swap the player token with any villager token. The player token must be in an unoccupied house in order to apply this effect. Magnet. Move the villager token to an unoccupied house up to 3 spaces closer to the player token. Adjuster. Increase or decrease panic by 1. Drill. Discard any number of cards from your hand and immediately refill your hand to 4 cards. So what does the... Did I not read the panic stuff? I don't think I read the panic stuff. I think I skipped over that. I apologize. I did. So going back to the main rule book, I apologize for this. I forgot to go over this panic section here for the panic track effects. So as the panic track level increases, the villagers get increasingly panicked and will hinder the monster or give more benefits to the wizard. These are shown on the panic track. So here, get busy. The wizard has one additional action on their turn. Here, stay inside. Skip the a new villager arrives step at the beginning of the wizard's turn. Here, a plethora of potions. Ingredients cost 1 coin less. The effects of the panic track are cumulative. Once panic has reached a certain level that triggers an effect, the effect continues to apply during every round in which it remains above that level. Wow. So if it's here, not only will no villagers come out, but also potions will have discount of 1. If it's here or above, it'll get every single one of those. Alright, pretty simple. Cool. That is fun. Alright, everyone. And that, oof, okay, everybody, is so... Get all these bags out of the way. Alright, so that is So You've Been Cursed by LudiCreations. Cool. I really like the dynamic of the switching of the wizard and the monster. So you can really try, like, so if the wizard has to create potions at the laboratory or at a specific location, you can, is it a specific location? No, sorry. They create their cures, essentially, at their laboratory. So you can really, like, try and push them away as the monster from their lab so they can't get back there. They find it incredibly difficult to get back there to increase what they have to do. And then vice versa, if you see the monster has a certain villager in there, you can try to keep them from getting certain... My goodness, I'm sorry. Certain villagers. So it's a good, like, tug of war sort of thing that you have here, which is really cool. I love that switching of the wizard to the monster. I'm very excited to dive into this with Board. I think he's going to love this whole thing of trying to maneuver and try to trick someone into going to some place or think ahead of where they're going to go and everything. It's going to be a great tournament game, that's for sure. Much like Dracula versus Van Helsing, we'll definitely be able to flip back and forth week to week as we play this. So I got to continue reading the So You've Been Eaten to see if we can do the same thing. I assume it's very similar as this, to really push and pull. So far, from what I have read of So You've Been Eaten, I definitely think I like this a lot more in the dynamic, but I have to play them both to really figure that out. Either way, if you're curious about the solo, I may get that at some point if I have more time where it's just me. I'll go through the solo rulebook rundown. If you want me to do that, let me know in the comments as well, and I can find time to do that also. And then, of course, the playthrough as well. I don't know when Board and I will get to this. We'll get to this at some point. But you let us know if you're curious, if you want us to get to it. We'll try to get to it sooner. But for right now, thank you for joining me today as I went through So You've Been Cursed. This is Bald and Board. I'm Bald, and I will see you in the laboratory.